Hi guys, today's topic is how to find your first engineering job after finishing your degree. Finding your first job is always a bit of a challenge, especially if you come from an engineering background and you're trying to get into the technology industry. At times, it can be a bit of a chicken and egg kind of situation. So to get a job, you need some experience, but to get the experience, you need a job. So in this video, we're going to look at some of the key ways in which you can approach your job search after finishing your degree. The first thing you have to think about when you're looking for a job after finishing a degree is to decide how flexible or how specific you want to be in your job search. It's highly likely that if you have finished your bachelor's degree, you don't probably have that much experience, so you have to be flexible to any job industry or any job function. On the other hand, if you're someone with a little bit of experience, for example, maybe through some sort of job placement or an internship somewhere, then you may be in a position to be a little bit more specific. For example, let's say you finish your bachelor's degree in something more generic like electrical engineering or electronics engineering. In that case, you have to be a little bit more flexible in terms of your job search. On the other hand, if you did something in textile engineering or wireless communications, that way you can at least be a little bit closer to the industry than someone with a generic degree. Having said that, it's better to do a specialization when you're doing your master's degree after your bachelor's, and it makes sense sometimes to have a bachelor's degree in something more generic, and then you do a master's to specialize in an area that you like. Now, once you have finished your bachelor's or master's degree, you have to decide whether you want to be more specific towards the industry or more specific towards the job function, or just stay generic. But how do you know how specific or how generic you want to be? Well, for that, you have to look at this diagram that I'm showing you on the screen. Now, if you look at this diagram or graph, you will see that on the y-axis we have the industry, on the x-axis we have the job function. For the job function, if you're more on the left, you're more generic in your search, and if you're on the right side, you are more specific. Similarly, for the industry, if you're more towards the bottom, you are more generic. If you go upwards, you are more specific. Now, this diagram is not a hard and fast rule. I just created it to demonstrate something, that if you are in quadrant A, it means you're looking for any job positions in any industries, which means you're highly flexible. On the other hand, if you're in quadrant D, it means you're looking for a very specific job in a very specific industry. Now, if you're a fresh graduate, it'll be very hard for you to be in quadrant D, because without any experience, with a generic degree, it's extremely hard to find something very specific in any industry. Similarly, there are some variations in quadrant B and quadrant C. So in quadrant B, you could be very specific job function wise. Let's say you're looking for something as an RF engineer, and then you're not limited to any industry. Now in quadrant C, you're not limited to any job function because you're open to any engineering opportunities within a specific industry. When you're starting your career, it makes sense and it's more practical to apply for any job opportunities in any field, irrespective of what your long-term passions are. Once you've had a few jobs, that way you can at least be in a position to know which industry you like and which industry you want to specialize in. Generally speaking, when you're starting your career, it's highly likely that you may be in quadrant A when you start your career. And once you have experienced a little bit, once you have been in the industry for a while, it's likely that you move towards quadrant D. The second thing you have to think about when you're looking for a job opportunity after finishing a degree is when to start your job search. For most people, the job search begins once you have finished your degree, because it only makes sense that you finish your degree and now you're looking for a job, so you're searching. However, it's possible for you to do your job search in a smart way. The best thing to do is to basically, even before you start your degree, let's say you're doing your bachelor's or master's, you can do a job search to understand the market a little bit, just to understand what attracts you, what is it that you like to do, and that way you can make an informed decision in terms of which degree you want to pursue. If for whatever reason you're not able to do that, the next best thing you can do is to already start looking for a job when you're doing your degree. For example, let's say you start your master's degree in telecom engineering. So what you can do is to already look for employers within the telecom industry, like mobile operators, like telephone vendors, etc. That way you can get an idea of what kind of qualifications they're looking for, what kind of experiences they're looking for. And then during your degree, even if some of those things are not included in your degree program, you can still do some study to make sure that you know about those things so that if tomorrow you were to go for a job interview, you would be prepared for that. One of the things people don't often think about is that your master's thesis or bachelor's thesis is a key way to get you into the industry and connect to the right people in your industry. A thesis or dissertation report allows you, it gives you a license to enter the job industry. A thesis report is a research, and a research is often done for an employer. Now, if you're smart about it, you will try your level best to find a thesis at an employer rather than just doing it within your university, because that's not going to help you at all. When doing a master's thesis or bachelor's thesis, you have to make sure you have to try your level best to find a company that can support your research so that once you're finished with the thesis, you can talk to the people. Hopefully they can help you find a job in your industry. Now, if you want to learn more about how to go about master's thesis or bachelor's thesis, have a look at this video. I've done a very detailed video on this topic. The fourth thing you have to think about even before finishing your degree is to select a degree program that allows you to have job placements. Now, this is not relevant for every degree program, but some degree programs, especially master's degrees, allow you or include some sort of job placement within that program. With a degree program like that, you're able to spend some of your academic time within a company to get hands-on experience rather than just reading something from a book. Now, for whatever reason, let's say you have missed that boat and your degree does not allow you to have any kind of job placement. In that case, you have some other options as well. One of the things to look out for is this graduate scheme or fast-track programs that many employers offer. These graduate programs or fast-track programs are available to students from universities, and that way you can spend some time within different departments of a company to get an all-round experience. And finally, what you also want to make sure is that your CV represents you in the best possible way and is a top-notch CV. So how do you make sure that your CV is top-notch? If you just run a Google search, you will see that there are many templates available out there. You can pick any one of them and don't waste too much time on which template you should use. The only thing you have to remember is that when you're applying for a job, your CV must be able to answer some of the questions that job description has. For example, if the job requirement is that you must have used a certain programming language, then your CV must be able to demonstrate that and show that. So you have to make sure that your CV is not too generic and it has some sort of specific elements that are relevant for a job that you're applying for. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I've written a very comprehensive post on this topic. Have a look at the link in the description below.